welcome back to the channel. We are in the Airbnb in Coventry. We've made it to England. We're here. So before I left Canada, there was a couple of things that I like to call my unfinished business for my YouTube channel. And I mean, there's still a lot of technically unfinished business for my YouTube channel. Like there's a lot I still want to see in Canada, British Columbia specifically, and even Vancouver Island specifically. But I had a pinched nerve, I had a lot of stress, I had a lot of stuff going on. I couldn't exactly just do everything I wanted to do before I left, which kind of sucked, but you know, that was my own doing. So the two main places that I really could not miss is what I'm sharing with you guys in today's video. So about a year ago, I went on my first solo adventure to Suquash, the oldest mine on Vancouver Island. I never ended up going down to the beach. If you guys remember, I was pretty scared. I was acting like a big wimp. And basically my logic was that if the bear was not where I was, the bear was probably at the beach eating food. And the funny thing is that when I came home that day from my adventure, Destination Adventure had posted his video on the same location, and there was a bear at the beach eating fish or chilling, just, you know, watching him on the beach. And I was like, I knew it. And although like clearly like you can survive just walking down the beach where there's a bear, but I was kind of like, I'm alone. I just had like a half-hour meltdown before walking into the forest at all. So, you know, so because of my big fear of bears and cougars and everything, I never ended up actually getting to the beach. Now, from watching Destination Adventures video, the beach just has like sheets and sheets of coal in it. And I think that that is amazing. I was so excited to see it. I had my best friend Marcia come and visit me for a weekend before I left the country. And I'm like, you know, we going on adventures. You're with Joe, we going on adventures. So we ended up going to Suquash first. So I showed her all the old ruins, all the old mining equipment, the mine shaft and stuff. She loved it. It was awesome. But I got some really amazing footage of the beach as well. So that is something that you're gonna kind of see here. The second location I went to is, how dare I complete my Bevan series without including the number 4 Bevan mine. So this video might end up being a little longer. I'm not really sure yet. Really depends on how much clips I ended up getting and how much I want to share of it all with you guys. Typically, as you guys know, what I've done is I've gone to a location and I've spelled out some information, the history on the place, and then I film while I talk or whatever. This time I kind of went there and I just got a bunch of shots. I just focused on filming. So here we are, about to dive into this video with you guys. First of all, not first of all, obviously, because I just did this big spiel, but like, I just want to say, if my voice is super echoey, I immensely apologize for that. These ceilings are tall as heck, and there's nothing on the walls to like bounce, like there's nothing. So my voice is just echoey and bouncing off everything. So if I sound like I'm yelling, there's an echo, whatever, I do genuinely apologize. I'm gonna try to fix that up before posting the video, but you know, we will see how that goes. So let's dive into it, shall we?
like lean a little one way.
So the ruins and footage that I'm about to show you guys is from the number 4 Cumberland Bevan Mine. The ruins that are left over are that of the fan house, which I actually thought was really cool because I got there and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a fan house just based off of my knowledge of what ruins of fan houses look like, how the number 7 mine looked and everything. And upon getting home and doing my research, I was right. And I know that's like a little toot your own horn moment, but like, I'm really proud that I can actually identify these things on my own now. Like I can tell where you're walking on ruins. I can tell where the ground's about to start to get weak, and like, sorry, that's just something that gives me like kind of joy. Upon discovery of the ruins of the number 4 mine, you kind of walk down like a big sand pit or like a gravel pit, and it kind of opens up to what looks like a old dirt road. And I thought that was really nifty. I actually thought it was the main road for a while, like this was their main road going in and out, but it was actually the rail tracks that went down there. If you walk up into the left of the forest, like the ground like gets quite high, and you can see these little like trails that kind of go in there. People ride on their dirt bikes in there all the time, and it's literally just coal hills. You guys know me, for some reason I'm like totally fascinated by coal and mines and everything. So for me, when I go up into this area that you see raised, and you know that that means something was there, and to just see the coal like being pushed out of the earth that way is like amazing. So as you walk down this like old dirt road, you'll see one concrete kind of big piece right on the side, and that's called a tipple. A tipple is a structure used to load all of the extracted coal onto the trains, basically for transport down to the coal washing station, where it would be sorted, figure out what was good and what was worth keeping. Now, upon passing the tipple, this is not something I saw, neither did Marcia, but I believe it was in an area where she can vouch for me. I stopped and I kind of started like trying to walk over, and she was like, do you see something? I'm like, I feel like there's something over here, but I just can't quite figure it out. Under, I imagine, a lot of shrubbery and moss now, because the video and the pictures I saw were from like 5 years ago. There's an old brick wall, and that brick wall is actually apparently a part of the blacksmiths, which was kind of cool. So you walk down this dirt road, you have all the coal hills on the left, you have this tipple, you have a brick wall, and the pathway kind of starts to more open up, and you can see it. You can see it coming through the trees, you can see this big structure, and for me it's just beautiful to see that. But I always forget that with this stuff that I see that I consider so beautiful and that I consider my passion to learn about, it was a lot of hardships for a lot of other people. So number 4 mine was, created a ton of jobs for people. A lot of people also died in these mines. Not just that mine, all of the Bevan mines. There was numerous explosions. There was an explosion in the number 6 mine that they could feel and knocked over men in the number 5 mine. There was 2 explosions, I believe, in the number 4 mine. 51 miners total were killed between these 2 explosions. One was in 1922 and one was in 1923. So from this mine, there was a mile-long slope down towards the lake, and it was just mines, basically mazes of tunnels that were down there underneath this area. And I think sometimes I forget how deep this stuff can go and how many different tracks and everything that there would have been down below us. And it's really, really interesting to think about. So there was a total of 1,600 acres that was mined underneath here. One thing I definitely did not know when I filmed my last Bevan locations is what the purpose of a fan house actually is. Now it sounds pretty self-explanatory, right? It's a fan house. There's fan mechanisms, obviously, for the mines. So the fans, because these mines went so deep and got so maze-like in there, so many toxins and gases can get trapped in there. So the fan helps regulate and push oxygen down there to make everything a little more, breathable, manageable. And an extra thing I didn't know is that it actually helped regulate the temperatures down there. So anywhere that they were getting super hot because of their oil lamps on their heads or candles on the walls that they were using or whichever, it helped regulate that temperature so they weren't suffering as much as they could have been, I guess. Working conditions down there were really bad. There was some times where miners were waist deep in water and only had 3 feet of space above their head to work with. And it's really sad, actually, to think about everything that those miners went through to build this town, to build the foundation that these towns are based off of. In 1935, the number 4 Bevan mine closed down. And it wasn't because of an explosion or anything like that. The town actually had a massive, massive storm that completely flooded all the mines. So one day the workers just woke up and they technically didn't have a job to go to. The flooding was so bad that it was actually deemed uneconomical to rebuild. They just kind of gave up and was like, we'll just fill her in and let her go. The mines of Cumberland were actually deemed the most dangerous in BC because of the amount of explosions that they actually had. It was extremely dangerous there. And the biggest loss actually was 148 miners in something, it's called the number 1 mine site in Nanaimo. Now, I actually thought that the number 1 mine site was kind of across the road. I'm still a little confused and unsure as to connections of everything, because for me, all the Bevan mines are the numbered 1 to 8 that are in that area of Cumberland and Comox and Courtenay. But then all of a sudden this one website says that the number 1 mine site of Nanaimo had the most explosions out of any of the Bevan mines. So I don't know if it was just that's how far this one went or what happened with that, but I know that that was like the worst explosion with the most deaths. So in the 1850s, Vancouver Island was actually the only source of coal in the west coast of North America. So that's why we have so many coal mines here. And it was our main transport. It was our main, not transport, it was our main export. It was what built Vancouver Island. It was what made our towns, and it was what created a lot of jobs for people. And like I said, a lot of people died. A lot of people died unnecessarily. If you go to the number 4 mine today and you drive down the main street of Cumberland, there's actually on the left, there's a couple different mine sites still. There's one that's called Jumbo's Cabin, and it's like the only, I think, living or standing structure that was from Japanese, they call it Japanese town, which is where all the Japanese miners lived and stuff like that. They basically created a town for them. And then a little bit ways down the road, it's a full Japanese historic site, and you go around, and I think I have some footage for that, which I will show you guys as well, but you go around and there's plaques touching on so many different things, people in the village, jobs, things that were created, everything. Little stores, haircut places, gambling, like all the things you could touch on gets touched on in these plaques. Now, when I say that a lot of our island is like thanks to these towns and these mines and stuff, it's because not only did it provide the jobs, but it provided our culture. It provided so much more than we even realize. There's whole ecological systems that are because of Japanese people who came to work in our mines. They would bring seeds and plants and stuff like that from home and plant them here. And we have these beautiful areas in these walks down that end of the island where those aren't native to our land. Like, you wouldn't know that these plants are not native to our land because they just look like they belong there. Everything just grows naturally, and it's really amazing to see that these things that people brought from their home country when they came to ours are still a part of our nature now. So by the 1870s, we had 8 mines total, and there was over 600 miners throughout these 8 mines, risking their lives daily to produce this transport export system for our island, to grow our communities, to grow our culture and everything. And I want to thank all those people. I wish I could thank all the people that risked their lives, all the ones who lost their lives. I hope they know that their actions were heroic, because it was not fair that we put these people in the lowest, worst part of the mines and just sometimes had no choice but to just let it happen. When the number 6 mine explosion happened, there were so many fires down that the farthest they could get a cart down was 40 feet. And it hit a point where they had no choice but to fill it in with water to put out the fires, which essentially meant that everyone in there was going to die. And it's quite heartbreaking to think about, really. Now you'll see here that there's a little hole in there, and you can hear dripping water in there and everything. And one thing that's nice is it doesn't have a massive mining sewage smell around it like the number 8 mine has. So going to the number 8 mine can be like literally overwhelming to your senses because it smells so bad. But you can like walk right up to this hole, not smell anything. I would never advise going in. This hole was meant to be covered. That is the entrance to the mine shafts. But what we need to remember is that it is not safe for us to go inside of these mine shafts, because you can easily come across pockets of space that have no oxygen at all, or come across areas that still have lots of toxins and gases in the air making you feel sick. And you know what? You're not gonna know that it's there or that it's affecting you until it's too late. You might walk in saying, oh, I don't smell anything, it's fine, but really it's not. The canary stories are real. The miners would take canaries down there into the deeper parts of the mines because the little canary's lungs would fill before yours. And if your canary stopped singing, you know it's time to get out. So I wanted to take a moment to kind of touch on one little subject with you guys. You have seen my one video, I'm sure, where I go down into a hole. I clearly don't spend that long in there. I spend like 30 seconds, it's a room, and the areas from there that would go to the mines, if they even do, are completely sealed off. But in that same area, when you are walking around, you are completely walking above just empty rooms sometimes. You can follow lines where there's a gap like this in the concrete, and you can follow them through the dirt and through the trees to discover how far these mines even went. And you can't even get as far as they actually went, because obviously you're never going to be able to spread out as far as they were, and you're certainly not going down as far as they were. Going into abandoned mines can be extremely, extremely dangerous, especially when it comes to a coal mine. The toxins from coal, and those, like coal specifically, and the passageways and everything that they have for that, so many areas have just gases leaking constantly and everything that you do not want to breathe in. Again, you're not going to be safe. So if you are going to be taking the step to go down into a mine, please make sure you're prepared. Bring a rope, wear a mask, make sure people know where you're going, because it can take the slightest brush of an arm on a wall for everything to collapse. The rotting wood, like they used wood to create a lot of these things, right? And the rotting wood can actually collapse under the weight of just a small child. So a lot of the times when you see me filming, like I'm just walking around and maybe I'm not checking and stuff, but what you didn't see is that before I'm filming, I'm walking around and I check the areas with my feet. And I know it's not a foolproof test, but it's kind of good enough for me where I can test the ground to make sure it's safe enough for me to walk on. So if you guys do go to these locations, please leave everything untouched. Don't harm anything. Oh, some graffiti's okay, but don't start fires. Don't be crazy, and just don't put yourself at risk. Keep yourself safe while you're going on these kinds of adventures, because everything can go wrong in an instant. In the States, I know this is obviously vastly different, but in the States, an average of, and this might have been like 10 years ago more or less, but an average of 30 people would go missing or die looking for abandoned mines, just trying to go in there and see things. So it is a high number in my opinion, and although some things are worth the risk, we really need to assess what is worth the risk of our lives or not when we're going down into these places. So just please, namaste, be safe with yourselves, okay? I guess that's that then. Thank you guys for being so patient. Thank you for watching this video. I can guarantee you there's a lot more coming. There's a few videos that are actually still gonna be from Vancouver Island that I'm really excited. They're kind of gonna be more look at this videos rather than me doing a bunch of talking. It's just kind of, I went out, I practiced my filming, and I saw some interesting things. So there will be some videos coming up like that. If you guys want me to dabble in shorts more often, like the short videos, not shorts, the short videos on YouTube, the way like TikToks and stuff pop up almost. If you guys would think it would be a good idea for me to post more of those, please let me know, because I can like create some shorts and post those up for you guys, just so you see like little sneak peeks and stuff before I go, or before a video comes, or whichever. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to click wherever to watch the next video. And I hope you guys enjoyed my footage. I hope you enjoyed the previous footage. I hope you enjoyed the next footage. And I hope you enjoy this new life adventure, where I went from being a small Vancouver Island girl to living in the heart of Coventry. But yeah, I love you all. I hope you have a fantastic day, whatever day of the week it is that you are watching this on. And if you ever have any questions or anywhere you want me to visit, comment below, please. Message me on Instagram, anything, like, I'll take it all. I'll take it all. I want to find all the places, I want to do all the things, and I want to see as much as I can while I'm here. So, bye. Now, my mom might kill me for this, but I want you all to pay attention to this part where I'm gonna walk up a wall, because I've walked up that wall before, and Jasmine called me halfway up it, and I almost had a heart attack and fell off the wall. Second time, I'm more confident. My phone is like in flight mode. Nobody's gonna be calling me, and I know to watch for all the pieces of rebar coming out the wall. I'm still walking carefully. I am watching the rebar. I am walking.
Bro, I'm walking up this thing and I trip.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I'm so careful, and I was like watching through the things, and then I just missed that one and fucked up. And I'm like, that would have sucked.
Broken leg, or like right before you leave, like just f yourself up.
Break my face.
Caca.
Best friend.
Wait. That's awesome.
Boobalicious Jesus. Boobalicious Fergalicious make them disciples loco.